Hey everyone, Roxanne here from financerocks.com. Today is our Sunday live stream session, so it's going to be Plan With Me. Weekly planning, and to give a little overview, we're going to start with a recap of the previous week, which is always a good time to reflect and just kind of ask what went well and what didn't go well from the previous week. Sometimes that gives us insights into what we could change for the upcoming week. So we'll do a little weekly recap. Then we will do a goal setting brain dump. So just going through each of the categories of our lives and identifying what things we might want to work on for the week. And this is just like, what things might I want to do? Then we are going to do 2 5-minute silent work sessions. The first one will be action planning. This is like prioritizing your tasks into which things are the most important to do this week. And then scheduling. So making sure that we have time in the week to accomplish what we want to accomplish. Then the second silent work session will be a logistics. And so that is going through, what am I going to eat for this week, meal planning wise? What things do I need to buy? What things can I wait to buy? And then just going through if there's anything that you need to quit to make room for the goals that you are setting for this next week. So to start with a recap, how was your week? And don't feel pressured to enter into the comments, but if you would like to, feel free to enter in the comments as I go through these. But so just thinking back, how was your week? How did it go? I was thinking through what went well for me. Some things that I did consistently get up early this week. That has been an ongoing battle for me, so I'm excited about that. I made Thai peanut noodles, so noodles with like peanut butter sauce, Thai dish. It was okay. I'm not a huge fan of like sweet noodles, and they were a little sweet for me. They had honey and peanut butter, so. But they're one of those dishes that they say is inexpensive, healthy, easy to make, affordable. So that had been one of my things for a while that I wanted to make. I got my shelving hung this last week, and I downloaded Duolingo and started re-studying Spanish. And apparently I have a long way to go because today I said, yo soy aquí, which apparently is not correct. My husband called me out. So, so that's what went well for me this week. And then you want to ask yourself, what could have gone better? So what things did you maybe fall down on? What things might you be looking to improve going into next week? So I did once again post my blog post like at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night. So my expectation for myself right now is that at some point in the week I post one. I'd really like to get it done sooner, but I tend to procrastinate on it. So thinking through, how can I post that earlier in the week? And then I did not do my mystery shopper sign up. That was one of my goals for this last week, and I just totally missed that one. So that's just a short little weekly recap. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys to think through, what things you could change going forward. Let's do a little goal setting brain dump. So we'll go through each category and just think through and write down everything you can think of if you have paper and pen available. As far as what things you might want to do for this upcoming week. So the first area, health and fitness. So are you working on an ongoing health goal? Are you trying to eat healthier? Are you trying to work out a certain number of days per week this next week? The next area would be finances. So, are there any tasks that you need to do? During my our weekly household meeting this morning, we discovered a transaction that shouldn't have gone through. I got charged on a subscription that I canceled like 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to need to call them this week and make sure that they cancel it and refund us. So anything like that. I also really need to probably start on a 401k transfer rollover since I quit my job now, I can move that money into a different 401k place. So I don't know if we'll get to that this week, but just some ideas for you on things you might want to work on. I did successfully incorporate for the last 2 weeks my habit of reviewing one article per week with my husband during our Sunday money meeting. And so last week we read How to Save Money on Camping. So that was pretty good. And then I read a really good one. We read a really good one this morning on how to save on restaurants. And one of the things I want to look up on there is how to buy discounted gift cards. And so if you guys know anything about that, let me know. But apparently you can buy discounted gift cards for like a lot of the chain restaurants. And so it's just an additional way to save money on restaurant dining out, since that's a category we enjoy a lot. So always looking for ways to cut back on that. So the next area of life, work, business, hustle. What do you need to do for work this week? If you're an entrepreneur, what do you need to do for your business? And then if you have a side hustle, any tasks that you need to work through. The next category, family and friends. I am trying to call people more often. That has been an ongoing goal of mine, to try to call a family member or friend each day. And I haven't been able to narrow down a habit to attach it to or a time of day to link it to. So it's kind of like whenever I happen to have time. But as you might guess, that's not a great way to set a goal, because it's hard to find time if you're not like intentionally planning, when you're going to do what and when. Education would be the next category. So for this, like languages, if you're studying a language, do you do like a lesson every day? Any reading or research related goals? Like I said, I started doing my Spanish again. So just going through Duolingo each day, making sure I get brushed up on that. I think it's always good to look at fun as a category. What can you do for fun this week? What could you do to kind of get outside of your regular routine? Are there things that you could do for relaxation? And I do usually try to encourage myself to find ones that are inexpensive to do. So that way I'm not relying on spending as a, relaxation technique, that kind of thing. And then the last category that I usually think about is faith or spirituality. So if you have certain goals for like Bible reading or scripture reading, that kind of thing. So hopefully that gave you guys some ideas on what tasks you might need to do for this week. I do always like to, after I think about tasks, think about habits. So what habits could you incorporate that would help make all of your other goals easier? That's based on a Tim Ferriss question. He asks, what could you do that would make everything else in your life easier? So one of the things is like working out. If you are working out regularly, you maybe sleep a little better. You wake up with more energy the next day to work on whatever tasks you have. If you're working out, you might eat a little healthier because you don't want to like waste your workout time. Like you go and do all this work, you don't want to just wipe it out with unhealthy eating. What habits do you have that need improvement? So what things are you wanting to do that you need to do more consistently? One of mine is like meatless Mondays or having a certain number of vegetarian meals per week. When I think of it, I'm like, oh, that'd be a great thing to do. We have a handful of vegetarian recipes. I just need to remember to incorporate those, because oftentimes we just think through like the different kinds of meats. So we'll be like, okay, let's get a fish recipe, let's get a chicken recipe, let's get a beef recipe. And then I forget to do like a vegetarian one. So that's a habit that I'd like to focus on more and improve upon. Other habit questions would be, what habits do you have that need to be subtracted, and what habits would you like to add? So just thinking through, do you have any bad habits, like going through a particular drive-through for convenience food kind of thing? Maybe it's shopping every night online or at the grocery store, going to the grocery store too frequently, those kinds of things. And then what kind of habits would you like to add? And usually this is an easier one for people to think through and to identify things for, because I don't know about you, but I'm always like, oh, I'd love it if I had a 5-minute morning routine where I journaled every morning. Or, oh, I wish I had a 5-minute routine of, meditating every day. So just thinking through what kinds of habits you might want to add. And then just to kind of make sure that I'm clear on task versus habits, I consider tasks to be one-time activities. So you do it one time, and then you get to kind of check it off. Compared to habits, which are our ongoing, every day, every week, or every month activities that we want to consistently do in perpetuity. So just thinking through those habits is usually helpful. And then I do sometimes do a weekly theme as well. So a weekly theme, if you have an area or a project that you really want to work on, just thinking through about, okay, if I was to pick one category, what category would be my area of focus for the week? And I find that this really helps with decision making. If you say, okay, my category or theme this week is my finances, then like if you are at the grocery store and you're like, oh, I can't decide between this and this, you can say, oh, well, my theme was personal finance. I'll go with the little cheaper version. I've done weekly themes where it's health and fitness, and therefore I would pick the healthier version. Just having that little theme sometimes is a guiding light, almost light, that's kind of corny, but it's kind of a little guide as far as decision making. And then if you feel overwhelmed, it's helpful to look back on that theme and say, okay, this is what I really wanted to focus on this week. And that kind of can help guide you as far as which tasks to do or which habits to focus on. So hopefully that helps as far as creating a weekly theme that'll help kind of overall with all your tasks and habits. All right, so action planning is going to be our first 5-minute silent work session. So once you have your projects identified for kind of what you want to work on this week, it's helpful to identify the one next action for each project. This is not an original idea. I got this from David Allen's Getting Things Done, which is a great book. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it. So thinking through what one next thing do I need to do to keep the ball rolling on this project? And that just helps prevent feeling overwhelmed by having, sometimes I'll start conversely, if I'm not paying attention, I'll just start going through a project and say, okay, I need to do this, and then it feels overwhelming because I have 20 things that I need to do. But just highlighting like what's the one next step is really helpful. And it just gives you focus for, what's the most important piece, making sure that you're doing things that are going to actually make that project come to fruition instead of just picking things that are easy. So that I think that is a good one to work through is what's the one next action. Mandaraj is here. Hello, welcome. Apriju, you're back. Hi, how are you? I was like, today I was thinking I need to have some live streams earlier in the day because I know you're on Poland time, right? And so I was like, oh, I feel bad always having them late at night. But anyway, welcome both of you guys. What are you working on this week? What do you have? What would you like to accomplish? So getting back into kind of like the action planning piece, thinking through one next action. I like to also think through what can wait. I have a bad habit of wanting to do all of the things at once. So it's helpful to me to look through those tasks and say, which of these things can I intentionally push into next week or next month or, whatever the next time frame is. Audrey says, I listened to an abridged version of that book this week. That's timely. I own a copy, I'm pretty sure. Got to get organized and find it. Yeah, I could use a refresher. It's been a while since I read it. Oh, okay. Abuja can't stay because it's 1 a.m. in Europe, but thank you for this. I'll watch it tomorrow. Yeah, thank you for popping in. Always nice to see you guys and check in. Hi. Okay. All right, next thing, asking as you're going through your tasks, asking which of these will have the biggest positive impact on my life. So once again, we're trying to identify the things that we can do that are going to make the biggest difference not necessarily things that are the easiest or fastest. So just reprioritizing those tasks. Okay, that's all I had for prep for this first session. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment field. This will be a 5-minute silent work session. Once again, we are trying to prioritize and then schedule any of the things that we want to accomplish this week in particular. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, so let's go ahead and we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, end of work session 1. How did it go? Any questions? I did have kind of a general productivity tip for you guys, and I heard about it on the Productivity Show, which is a podcast that I really like and also recommend. They were talking about how they use digital calendars like Google Calendar, and Tan, the guy that I think he owns the company, but he adds a little emoji at the front of each calendar appointment as a reminder, kind of as like just so that he can get an at a glance look at his calendar and see what he has. So like using a little like camera for, okay, I need to record a video or do a live stream kind of thing. So a little camera and then the description for the calendar invite. He said he uses a particular emoji if it's a phone call that he needs to make. Cooking or like meal prepping would be another one. So I thought that was a really cool idea. I want to go in through my calendar and add in those little emojis. I think that'll be helpful for me too, because I've tried to color coordinate my calendar so that way I can look and say, oh, okay, here are like our home related ones. So fixing up the house or cleaning, those kinds of things go under one color in my calendar. But I think that it would be, yeah, especially for like phone calls, Zoom calls, that kind of thing, having like a particular emoji, I thought would be helpful. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And then from the article I read this morning on how to save money on restaurants, one of their tips was to sign up for the email list for restaurants that you like to go to. And I was kind of wondering if this might backfire, like if you get coupons from the place a lot, like, if they're showing up in your, front of mind awareness, are you going to be more likely to go and eat at restaurants? But then also if they provide you with coupons, like, maybe that's helpful in offsetting the cost. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that that would be counterproductive to sign up for? I mean, obviously they're sending out coupons for a reason. It must be benefiting them, but I don't know. I went back and forth on that, but I do get coupons for like Curry Express, the Indian place that we like to go to. And so I do like using those, and yeah, anyway. So those were tips from that work session. Going into the next work session, we'll be talking about logistics for the week. So this is going to be, what do you plan to eat this week? And this is a really important question that I ask my personal finance coach and clients a lot, because if you don't really have a plan in place, then it can be really tempting to go and get food, like convenience food or like restaurant trips that you hadn't planned, that kind of thing. So just thinking through, what are you going to eat this week? Oh, okay. Mandraj, what's the exact name of the podcast? It's The Productivity Show by Asian Efficiency is the name of it. It's really good. You guys should check it out. Andrew, hello. Yeah, that's why I just don't eat out. Well, yeah, there's that. I don't know. I kind of consider myself a foodie. Don't tell anybody. It's not a very frugal habit. But yeah, coupons don't make you buy. That's a good point. It's just there if we decide to buy. Yeah, like I said, if you're subject to the advertising, which might be influencing you to purchase, but you're right. Like I could just say, oh, okay, we're only going to do this once per month, and then I'll just save all the coupons. So thanks. Okay, good. I think it's a pretty popular podcast. I really like it. They talk about all kinds of things about productivity. They talk a lot about like using your calendar as a tool for productivity instead of just using it for scheduling appointments, which I think has been very helpful. Time blocking. They use this framework called the T framework, TEA. So it's a way of looking at your time, attention, and energy, because those are the three things that really determine how productive you can be. So, do you have a shortage of time? Is that why it's hard for you to get stuff done? Do you have a shortage of energy? Like, are you not sleeping well? Are you not eating well? Because energy, that's going to affect your productivity if you have low energy. And then attention. If you have an attention problem, you have a hard time focusing. If your workspace is very distracting, please don't look around on my desk. So like managing your attention, making sure that your phone apps aren't like alerting you unnecessarily, which is drawing your attention away from focused productivity time. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I love their podcast. Okay, so thinking through logistics for this week, what do you plan to eat? What meals do you plan to make? Shopping, what do you need to buy in order to prepare and eat those meals? Is Sunday too late of a time to ask these questions? Like, I wonder if people have already done this by the time Sunday afternoon rolls around. I'm just curious. And then kind of a plan for self-care. What can you do this week to relax, have some downtime, take care of yourself? And then when can you schedule blocks of time to like get caught up on things? If you need to rearrange your schedule, having a little bit of breathing room. I think they call this a buffer block traditionally. So, when can you schedule buffer blocks in so that way you're not overscheduling yourself trying to accomplish these tasks and habits? What can you quit to make room for your new goals? I quit a bunch of stuff this year. I actually just ended up quitting Toastmasters, which I was doing to practice public speaking. I quit my actual job in February or March, but I quit one other thing recently. I can't remember. It's important to reevaluate from time to time what things still fit into your life, what things are still supporting the goals that you're working towards, and have you found other things to do that kind of replace that activity? It's just good to reflect on that kind of thing. So what could you quit to make room for your new goals? Purchase procrastination. So this work session would be a good time to check in with your purchase procrastination list. If you're unfamiliar with this, I like to keep a list of things that I want to purchase, and I just write it down on a list. And then I do like the following month. I'll go through that list again and see if there's anything that I want to prioritize for the current month. And it's just good to, like, if you've been thinking, oh, I should buy this thing, like if it keeps popping up in your mind, just taking a second to write it on that list is going to be helpful, free up a little mental space. Yeah, okay, any questions there? Or we can move into the next silent work session. This will be the last one. So we'll do this 5-minute silent work session. Feel free to comment if you have any questions or if you want to share what you're going to work on this week for accountability's sake. And we'll do a quick recap after this, see how it went. I usually come up with a few tips to share during the session. And then that'll be about it for this live stream. So hopefully you're ready. You got pen and paper ready. We're going to do logistics. So what do you plan to eat and how do you plan to fit in your new tasks and habits that you want to work on? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, sorry about that. I think I accidentally just ended it. Uh, anyway, so just to recap, that was the second work session. Another tip, things that you want to think through is what can I sell? So what things could you sell or get rid of? Um, and so sorry about that. I did accidentally close out of the live stream. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay again. But yeah, thinking through what can I sell or get rid of. And this is a good one for like your personal finances, just from the standpoint of fostering a sense of contentment with having less. And then as far as like having less physical clutter, that's been an ongoing goal of mine as well. Just helps with general productivity. Okay, Audrey, you're still here. Sorry about that. I clicked funny and it closed it, so it's weird. Anyway, so yeah, anything that you could sell and get rid of. And then for accountability, the things that I am working on this week, I'm gonna write every day. This probably should have been the one I should have been focusing on for a while now. So making sure I'm writing every day, I think that'll help me to kind of get my blog post done before Saturday at 10 p.m., it was like almost 11 when I got it posted last night. So, and then like I said, I want to keep my mystery shopper sign up task just to try that out. Never tried it before. And so, yeah, that's my habit and my task. So, yeah. Okay, so upcoming items. So remember, No Spend Challenge is going to be October 20th through 25th. And I usually do a prep day. So really it'll start on like the 19th will be, if you want to go and buy anything, that would be the day to do it. Gassing up your car if you need to. So I should probably mention, like, make sure you're allocated, like have it flagged on the 19th as well, because that's going to help you prep for the No Spend Challenge. Tuesday, for the Tuesday night live stream at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I am going to do a mid-month budget check-in. So comparing actual spending to budget. So that'll be the Tuesday live stream. And then Margal asked it. She was asking for content about how to get a raise. I did ask for and receive a 12% raise a couple years ago. So I wanted to share some of the tips that I used in order to do that. So probably not content for this upcoming week, but I'm hoping the following week I will have a video on how to get a raise. So hopefully that'll be helpful. If you have suggestions for content you'd like to see, let me know. Mandaraj, I'm reading every day now. Good for you. Before I thought I would read every day and never did. Well, good. So, okay, what do you think has helped you to establish that habit? Like, do you do it at a particular time? Is it attached to another habit that you do every day? What do you think has helped you become successful with that? I'm just curious if there was anything that like has helped you to stick to that, because reading every day is one of those ongoing ones that's hard for me to like stick to. I do have like a reading buddy right now. And so every Monday we meet and it's kind of like a book club. And that has helped make sure that I'm like keeping up on reading. But even still, it'll be like Sunday night and I'll be like, okay, I have 10 pages to read instead of reading every single day. Sometimes I wait until Sunday. So an app. So you use an app to make sure you read every day. Is that like a daily checklist where you're just like, yes, I completed the habit each day? Like, you don't have to answer that. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Yeah, that's cool. That's a really good habit. Education, that kind of thing is, it's just helpful all around. It helps you relax when you're reading. So yeah, that's a great habit. Thank you for sharing. I put you on the spot. Yeah, so how to get a raise, Tuesday mid-month budget check-in, and then No Spend Challenge. So let's see, I always have the tablet with me, so no excuse. Ebooks and audiobooks, and I make the size bigger. Okay, this is great because the no excuse thing, like, and that's a big part of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. He talks about making your habits easy and having your tablet with you all the time makes it pretty easy to, just, pop it out if you are like out in public somewhere, if you're waiting for a doctor's appointment, that kind of thing. So that's interesting, making it easy to make sure that you read every day. I like it. Libby and Overdrive, get books from the library. Libraries, they're the best. Great way to save money. Yeah, that's cool. I've never heard of Libby before, but I have heard of Overdrive. I think that's the same one that our library has. I've struggled to figure it out. I was going to download some books for a trip that I had went on like 2 years ago, and I struggled to figure out how to get the Overdrive like checkout download. I was a little confused by that, but and I call myself tech savvy. Anyway, that's all I have for you. Yeah, like I said, go ahead and let me know if you have topics for upcoming videos or upcoming live streams. Thank you so much for following along. If you're catching the replay, hit replay. It's always helpful if you guys hit the like button. That helps my content get shared to more people. And until next time, I will hope that your finances rock, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks, guys.